like to welcome and call the Monday, April 28th, 2025 Blue Springs Planning Commission meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Smith? Here. Sanderson?
Here.
Cradoff?
Present.
Graham?
Present.
Howe?
Here.
Ingersoll?
Present.
Pumphrey?
Present.
Stokenberry?
Present.
Chairperson Henning? All right, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you and welcome everyone this evening and those watching from home. Tonight's agenda consists of item 1, the minutes from the April 14th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. Items 2 and 3, preliminary plat with alternative development standards and final plat for McTee Lane. Item 4, master alternative sign for Tim Hortons. And item 5, adjournment. At this time, I would like to entertain a motion on the consent agenda for the approval of the April 14th, 2025 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Up next, I would like to open the public hearing for agenda items number 2 and 3, the preliminary plat for alternative development standards PP 03259515 and final plat PF 03259516 for McAtee Lane. I will ask for exhibits from our city attorney, Josh Newell.
The city would like to enter exhibits 1 through 8.
Thank you. For all those who wish to speak, please stand and be sworn in as a group.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. At this time, I would ask for staff presentation, Ms. Chantel Fry. Heather?
Chantel Fry on behalf of the city at 903 West Main Street. Before you this evening, we have a request for an approval of a preliminary and final plat along with the alternative design standards. The proposal will involve a replatting of Lot 1B of the McDermott Place into 3 single-family residential lots with the request to allow front-loaded attached garages. This is an alternative to the standard requirement in the T3 suburban zoning district under the Downtown Development Code, which states that you cannot have attached front-loaded garages. The final plat will cover approximately 0.23 acres near Northwest 15th Street and Northwest B Street. The proposed land use will be the single-family residential. The building elevation submitted with this application features a mixed durable and visually appealing materials. Staff recommended the front-loaded garages to have the front-loaded attached garages to be softened with the placement of an awning detail, as you see in this photograph, and a widening of the front porch so that the house is not so front-heavy. No public infrastructure improvements are required as part of this development, and there is an existing 5-foot-wide ADA-compliant sidewalk already located along the east side of Northwest 15th Street. Per the Downtown Development Code Section 404.240H1, parking standards vary by the T-zone, and the applicant is requesting a waiver for the attached garages to be allowed to the front of the street on which the primary entrance is located. Staff reviewed the request and finds the preliminary and final plats are within compliance of the Downtown Development Code and the UDC requirements. Staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat with 2 conditions, and staff recommends approval of the final plat with 3 conditions, and I would be happy to answer any questions if you have any, and we have the applicant here.
Thank you. Bring it back up here to the commission. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, would the applicant like to speak? Sure. Just please remind you to state your name and your address, please.
Okay. Address, you said?
Yes, please.
Excuse me, Chad McAtee with RC McAtee Construction, 3224 South Owen School Road, Independence, Missouri. as part of the downtown master plan, which I've been building in downtown for a few years here, what I'm trying to do is obviously create more mass density, which was one of the high priorities with that master plan, especially with single-family homes. In particular, I'm asking for the alternative design request because at this point, there hasn't been a parcel of land such as this, which only has one street front. Most of the other developments have been on a corner or had some type of alleyway access, which would make some of the original rulings that are part of the master plan more applicable or more accessible. In this case, front-loaded is the easiest, as well as trying to bring a product in the downtown area that is affordable by reducing some of the material costs that would be required with doing a side entrance or a rear entry or whatnot. So I'm actually not condensing this as much as it could be based on the minimum lot size. I could have put 4 lots on here, but I didn't want to over maximize that. I think the product that we're putting there is going to be offering an opportunity for people who are looking for housing in this area, an opportunity, and still have spacious, side lots and whatnot. So this is one of 2 plans. I don't know if you wanted.
We didn't get any other plans.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay. Sorry, that's a miss on my part.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Oops. I would like to ask, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this project? Seeing none, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in opposition of this project? All right, public comment section of this public forum is over. Any further discussion from the staff?
We have none.
Thank you. Any further discussion from the applicant? All right. Any discussion from the commission? All right, I will close the public hearing. At this point, I will ask for a motion on the preliminary plat with alternative development standards.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd move to approve preliminary plat with alternative development standards PP 03259513 for McAtee Lane with the 2 staff conditions.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. This will be a roll call. Tracy, please.
Commissioner Sanderson,
Aye.
Commissioner Cradoff,
Aye.
Commissioner Graham,
Aye.
Commissioner Ingersoll,
Aye.
Commissioner Pumphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Stokenberry,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Howe.
Aye.
All ayes.
All ayes. That motion carried. I will ask for a motion on the final plat.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
move to approve final plat PF 03259516 for McAtee Lane with the 3 staff conditions.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. For all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carried. This item will be recommended and heard by the City Council at their Monday, May 2nd, 2025 meeting at 6 p.m. Thank you. The next item up on the agenda is item number 6, the master,
It's 4.
my apologies, item number 4, the master alternative sign. All right, it's ASP 04259554 for Tim Hortons. At this time, I'll ask for staff again. Hello.
Chair and Commissioners, before you this evening is a request for the amendment to the master alternative sign plan for the proposed Tim Hortons Coffee Shop located at 1900 Northwest 7 Highway. On March 24th of 2025, the applicant appeared before Planning Commission to request the application for the use of the existing non-conforming pole sign located outside of the I-70 corridor. Following review and discussion, the Planning Commission denied this request. Per section 501.030 E of the City Code, the applicant was informed of the opportunity to appeal the Commission's decision within 10 days. However, no appeal was submitted during the allowable time frame, and it is important to note that the City Code does not impose a mandatory waiting period before submitting a new application for a master and alternative sign plan following a denial. The pole sign was originally installed for the former Backyard Burgers, which has been classified as a non-conforming since the business has been vacated over 180 days. The pole sign is also non-conforming due to the location of the business, which it does not comply with the requirements outlined in Sign Code Section 501.060 C2A, and the applicant is requesting approval to allow the continued use of this existing non-conforming pole sign. The proposed non-conforming pole sign, which is approximately 80 square feet, and it does not abut or is located within the I-70 corridor. Staff does not believe this request is warranted for the following reasons. The property is not located between the interstate I-70 and the frontage roads. The property is neither within 400 feet of the I-70 pavement edge, excluding on and off ramps, nor is it positioned as close to I-70 as possible while complying with all location requirements. The location of the sign is approximately 3,069 feet from the I-70 corridor, and with the new discovered evidence, the current non-conforming pole sign is actually located in the water easement shown on the plans provided. There's approximately 4 feet and 6 inches of open space where a proposed monument sign could be replaced. It has been an effort for the city to remove the pole sign located outside of the corridor. And as you can see, that is the existing pole sign located in the 10-foot water easement. And so it has been an effort to remove the pole signs located outside of this corridor, and the proposed signage is not appropriate for the time, place, and manner since it's located outside of the corridor and is also located within that water easement, which is the city's water line. Staff does not recommend approval of the master alternative sign plan application, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is also here too.
Thank you. I'll bring it back up here. Any comments or questions for staff? I do have one question. The monument sign, could you show where that would be? Obviously, it wouldn't be in the water.
So let me zoom in.
Yep.
The monument sign, so here's that 4 feet and 6 inches. That's that open space where you could put a monument sign. Oftentimes, some of the newer modern monument signs you'll see are skinnier base and then open up, kind of a fan out,
Sure.
which is allowed by per city code.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. All right, would the applicant like to speak? And please state your name and address, please.
Roy Brown, 24 Oak Hill Cluster in Independence. I certainly understand the desire to remove pole signs in this particular case because this Tim Hortons is one of 3 in the Midwest. The closest ones are Ohio and Texas. And this particular location will draw a lot of traffic from westbound I-70. And this sign is very important for the business. We're asking that we could keep it and reface it. This is a commuter-dependent business, and it will draw people to Blue Springs who have never been to a Tim Hortons, as I have never been to a Tim Hortons. So this visibility is extremely important. And we'll go over why it would be difficult to have a monument sign. Also having this sign will draw people, first-time people to Blue Springs, to the northern portion, and they might see other businesses that they might wish to do business with. So this information about the water easement was not available until after this request was turned down on the 24th. So I'd like to go over a few drawings. Let's go to number 1.
Is that the Price Chopper sign?
Price Chopper. just going to take a little trip down the happy forest of pole signs north of I-70. There's a Price Chopper sign, and then there's a sign on the right. So if you keep going, let's go to number 2. Here's U.S. Bank, and you can see the wall on the left. Let's go to the next one. There's Walgreens. Then let's go to number 4. There's the Miller Theater, which is much, much larger than the sign that we wish to keep, which is across the street. Now let's continue. Let's go to number 5. This is, as you can see, the sign is empty. It's sticking above the landscaping, and there's no way to see. If there were a monument sign, can we zoom in on that just a little bit more? As you can see, there's no, with all the landscaping, there's no way to possibly see a monument sign if the pole sign were removed. So now let's go a little bit further north, number 6. There's another pole sign for the car wash. And number 7, there's the Sonic. So now let's go to number 8. This is what Chantel first showed you. And I'm going to highlight with color so that you can see a little bit more clearly. We go to number 9. And so you can see on the left, that is the easement for the water line. And on to the right, that wider color, that is an cross access easement. So we're being forced to, if we put in a monument sign, we're being forced to put it within that. Now let's go to the next one. So can you zoom in on the upper right? There. So if we were to put in a monument sign, you can see on the left, the dashed line is the edge of the water easement. The footing cannot extend past that line. Then on the right, you have a curb, and it's not wise to put a monument sign right next to a curb because it's going to get bumped, people are going to back into it, mirrors can hit it, and so it's customary to keep a couple of feet from the curb, and then at the same time, you don't want to shear off the soil right behind the back of the curb and cause potential settling. So you need to maintain the soil pressure beneath that. So if I were to design a monument sign, the width would end up being 2 foot 2 inches, and that's conservative. So I looked to see if I could find a monument sign with those proportions, and I didn't have any success, but I went back 1,500 years and I came up with this. In the, we're in the coffee region of Mexico. That's 4-sided architecture, but I don't really think that, even as interesting as that is, it might be the coffee god, I don't know who that is, you wouldn't see it. So let's go to number 12. This is what we're wanting to do, and this is actually looking south, so it's keeping what's there. And as you can see, where the pole hits the curb, actually, from the original drawings that we found from the engineer, the pole was farther where it was actually on the edge of the easement. Actually, now, where it was put, it's not in the easement. It's right next to the curb. So this is our dilemma. We're hoping that you would recognize that Blue Springs isn't in the business of putting small businesses out of business, and we can't really get a monument sign in there, much as we might like to. If this were a new building from the very beginning, and we could do all our own landscaping, we could create it so that you could see a monument sign, but that's not the case here. you can see the shrubbery south of the sign be totally blocked. And so my prayer is that you guys would recognize the common sense reality here that we really need to keep that pole sign. And it would be a benefit to the other businesses in the area. It would be of a benefit for this business to come in. If they'd known that this might not happen, they would not have bought this property. And the problem is actually because of the 180-day clause. In today's market, that doesn't really give people enough time to sell a building and create drawings, put all the players together. It's very difficult. So they missed that by a little bit of time, and that's why we're having this issue. Excuse me, this issue. So, are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I will bring it back to the council. Any commissioners, any questions?
I have a question. I know that we've talked about this before, and I know there's new signage requirements. Is there any exception that can be made based on the language, which I haven't seen at all, but is there any exception?
The exception that we are given is that monument sign can be designed in that open space and would be appropriate.
The monuments.
Because all those other pole signs that were shown in the presentation, those are all existing, and those businesses are not selling, they're not updating anything. They would be held to the same requirement. So if Price Chopper sold and it was vacant within that 180 days, they too would have to rip that sign down. So everybody along that corridor would be held to the same accountable of that sign code.
The only way to grant a pole sign anywhere in the city is through a master sign plan. And the sign code criteria specifically state it has to be in between a frontage road and I-70, or has to be within 400 feet of a travel lane of I-70. So there are no exceptions to those standards unless you do essentially what's being requested tonight is to grant a modification or a variance to that provision in the sign code. The city, since I have started, has made a very deliberate effort to get as many pole signs to switch to monument signs as possible, up and down the north side of 7 Highway and the south side of 7 Highway. There is not a Conoco. There's a liquor store up there that used to have a pole sign. It's a gas station. They just went through a complete facelift. They had a pole sign they wanted to keep, and we made them do a monument sign. A number of businesses up and down 7 Highway. There were at least 3 pole signs down at where 7th Heaven is, and now there's only 1 because a lot of those pole signs went vacant for 180 days. The other provisions in the sign code that make us, so if like a sign, essentially the 180 days after that point, it lost its legal non-conforming status. And so then in any type of, you can't reuse it, it basically becomes illegal at that point. And so in order to do something new, any new things have to meet the city code. So whether the sign is vacant for 180 days or whether the sign is damaged, more than 50% of its value, and we've had 2 of those where a car ran into the Daylight Donut sign on South 7 Highway, and they didn't actually put up a new sign, and somebody ran into the pole sign, or the wind blew it over at Munsterman Auto Group just down at the railroad tracks and 7 Highway, and we made them put in a monument sign as well. So we're not necessarily trying to single this business out any more than we have any others. We're just enforcing the provisions of the code.
Is Tim Hortons proposing a pole sign for the location with Chapel, or is that monument sign okay?
That monument sign was permitted and put in place by the Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
And so my guess is that they would try to just reface that in some way and reuse that. And given that that was put in within the last 5 or 6 years, that monument sign would be okay.
But that location's not, they're not concerned about it not drawing traffic without a pole sign?
That has not been presented to me by either the applicant or by the business. I don't know if we've had any conversations about that site in particular with regards to signage. It's only been this site.
Any further comments or questions from the commission? All right, seeing none, I will ask for a motion on the master alternative sign.
I don't think you get the motion.
So, but it has to be in the form of a positive, correct? So,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we always ask that it be a motion to approve, and then it becomes just like a simple yes/no vote,
yes,
rather than trying to do the
Negative,
reverse,
yep.
kind of double negative there.
Absolutely.
Chair, I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, a motion to approve master alternative sign ASP 04259554 for Tim Hortons.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye. And those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
No.
That motion was denied, and that motion was denied. All right, if there's no further business, any other business from staff or anyone?
No, we do not have any this evening.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
All right, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night, thank you.